All right.
Okay, so we're about ready to start stage 2 here. So basically, it's going to be identical to stage 1. We're going to use the 1 pound tumbler, and all the rocks are going to go in there. And basically, we're just going to use the stage 2 compound instead of the stage 1 compound.
You want to Tetris them in there. Now there might be more room left over.
Yeah, because the rocks have been ground down a little bit after stage 1.
Exactly.
So it may not fill the tumbler quite so high as it did previously.
And if it's only a little bit down, then that's fine. But if there's an excessive amount, like if you accidentally put in softer rocks that got ground down a lot and you have a lot of room, you're going to want to use filler at this point.
Or add more rocks that you've already ground up previously.
Yeah, that are already past the stage 1 type, or maybe they're shiny, but they're not shiny enough, so you just throw them in for, this stage. It's kind of cool. It's got a little tiny ribbon of agate in there, or quartz or something. Oh, it's cool with a whole bunch of colors. Great colors in here. We got a great variety of rocks in here. I'm loving this. Oh, one more big one we want to make sure it gets in there. See, ours isn't quite ground down enough to need filler at this point.
Doesn't look like it.
No. So we don't need filler, but later on we do have filler if it's needed later.
Yeah, we bought some for this next batch because we were told that we needed some for our first batch, didn't put any in there, and they didn't come out quite the way we wanted it to.
Wasn't exactly as good as we wanted it to be. So, see, ours is still
So, once again, we're
high.
still about 75% full on this thing, which is about where you want to be. Mm-hmm. So then you put water in there, right up to where the rocks are.
Did you want to follow me to the sink? Because I forgot to... Just like that. See how it is? Just the tops of the rocks, just barely poking out. And then we need the... Where did you put the compound? Okay. Alright.
And this is the stage 2 compound.
Stage 2. This one isn't as grainy. It's going to be a little bit finer. So every step's going to get a little bit finer and finer.
Once again, it's 1 tablespoon per pound.
1 tablespoon per pound.
And we have a 1 pound tumbler. So obviously, if you have a bigger tumbler than that, you're going to want to adjust accordingly. I think the next size up from this is like 1.5 pounds. And then there's like a 3 pounder and a 6 pounder. And yeah. I don't know why anybody would want to do a 6 pounder. Those things are really noisy.
Oh, yeah.
This thing is relatively quiet. We actually have it under our bed while we're sleeping at night.
It's kind of like rain on a tin roof sound.
Get a nice close-up view of what that looks like there.
About that?
That's about right.
There we go. And just put that in there. See how it's finer than the last one? If you watch the last video, you'll see that there's a consistency difference. And be careful about putting this in the sink or rinsing it into the drain, because this stuff can clog your drain in larger amounts. Only very little do you want in the sink. So when you rinse these, just like the last video, you want to do it outside first.
Hosing it out in the yard again like we did last time.
Alright, now you're going to put this part on, and you're going to just put it right in the lip.
I really like the fact that we got a rubber tumbler.
Yeah, it's quieter. And you want it very even. And you want it just below the top, because then when you put this part on and screw it, it creates a suction. So if it's flush, then you won't get as much suction and it might come loose. Might. This is pretty well designed. You take the top. You want to make the top, sure the top is even all the way around as well.
For those that didn't watch our first video, this is the National Geographic tumbler, the Hobby Edition. It's on Amazon for about $60.
Very good price.
and it comes with everything you need to get started. Stones, all 4 compounds.
Oh, for only one try, though.
The whole shebang. Yeah, it only gives you enough to do it one set of rocks one time through.
All right. Does that look even?
Looks pretty good to me.
A little bit on that side. There we go. Yeah. It's pretty close. Yep. Yep, look at that. Good?
Yep.
Okay. And then you screw it, and it'll create the suction. And you want to do this until it gets nice and tight. You don't want to force it, though. All right.
Okay.
Dry it off real quick. It's going to be a little bit wet from splashing the waters. All right. Now we're going to go to the tumbler. Say hi to the kitty. Hi, kitty. All right. And this is where we have it, right under our bed. Goes right under here.
You're only showing this again for the people that didn't watch the first one, how this thing works.
And you just put it right
And
there.
it's going to go for 7 days again, just like it did before.
You just set to 7 and start. And there you have it.
Yep, that's all there is to it. So we'll be back again to show the results of stage 2 and start stage 3. Okay, so here we are. Step 2 has just gone through the tumbler for the last 7 days. So now we're going to open up the tumbler and clean everything off. And we'll basically be doing exactly what we did at the end of step 1. For those that haven't seen the first video, it's very, very important to get this thing clean. If any of this stuff ends up in stage 3, it's not good. So make sure you get everything nice and clean. Oh, those are looking nice. Good? Okay. Okay, so we're back in the house after the initial cleanup. For those that haven't watched the first video, it is very important to do the initial cleanup outside. Do not do it in your sink. Only do the touch-up work in the sink. Supposedly this stuff can clog your drain pretty good if it gets in there. So make sure you get all the gunk out of the tumbler before you move back inside. So at this point, it's going to be pretty much the same thing as stage 1. You're going to make sure that the tumbler is nice and clean with a toothbrush, and then we're going to do the same thing to the stones. Also, you want to keep the stones wet, just like in stage 1, which is why we have this water bowl here. So as soon as they get clean, they'll go into the bowl.
Oh, grass in there. Should I use soap or?
It's not coming out. Try the sponge.
Well, it's coming out. It's just really difficult to get all of it out. I'm being a little bit more thorough in this one because it makes more of a it matters more on the 3rd and 4th stage, because then it'll start scratching the rocks if you don't get every little bit off the tumbler and the rocks. So I'm like trying to be more thorough, and when you're being more thorough, it's really hard to get that extra bit out of there. Like every time I wash, there's more in there. I think that's okay. Hopefully that's okay. Should be a little easier when it's not a container. Yeah, that's coming off a lot easier when it's... Put these on the towel. Oh, that crevice had to fit in there. Feel it come out. last two, you're going to have to use only a softer toothbrush and not one of the more rougher bristles, because I can scratch it as well. So this is the last time I can use one of the rougher bristled brushes.
The rougher bristled brushes. Try saying that 5 times fast.
So there's all kinds of crevices in it. This is a very porous stone.
A pore stone?
Porous.
Porous.
Yes. Means it has little pockets. As in, when you brush it, it's pocked.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of smooth, like the other ones. So even if it gets smoothed down more, it's probably going to have more.
Yeah,
Which
more than likely.
is what porous means. Which means this stone might be a problem. Because it can hold on to the stuff.
Yeah. Might have to take that out for stage 4.
Yes.
Depending on how it looks like after it gets done with stage 3.
Mm-hmm. If it doesn't get smoother and it stays like this, then it's going to have to be taken out.
Yep, might have to go through stage 3 a couple of times.
No, it will just not be able to ever go through stage 4. Doesn't matter how many times you do stage 3. If it's porous, it's going to keep having the...
I suppose that's true. Which is too bad because it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this one's gonna do very well. I didn't know that when I chose it. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong and it'll get better.
Yeah, we'll take a closer look at some of these rocks when Shan Chan's done cleaning them, just like we did in the last one.
Some of these are a lot easier. That one's been really nice. This one's just becoming amazing. It had all that dark stone on the outside of it, and now it's really, the agate's really coming out. Because we're getting all that softer rock off the outside. Toothbrush a little bit better. the ones that can't be gone through the stage 4, you can always use a Dremel buffer. I have one of those, so it's an option. If you ever want to try to polish something up a little bit more and don't think it might be safe for the tumbler, or at least safe for the other rocks, that is.
I just put clear nail polish over it too.
You don't do that.
No?
No. No, 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 no. That is a big, big no-no. I mean, somebody put like a wax coating on the outside of it, but even that I think is terrible. Ruins the rocks in my opinion, and you can't put fingernail polish. At least if you don't want your rock ruined, you can't put fingernail polish on it. But I'm not an expert, so you can always look it up if you want to know for sure on what you can and can't do to the rocks. But I personally would never put fingernail polish on any of my rocks. Oh, man. This one almost looks like it needed to get grinded down a bit more.
I'm going to put that one through stage 2 a second time.
No, it might have even needed stage 1 a second time. I mean, it's got a lot of, like, the softer rocks are leaving a lot of big chunk of, like, pock marks in it, and there's still a lot of it left on it. But it would need to be grounded down considerably more for it to be completely smooth. It might just, I don't know, be another one that we have to just deal with or use a Dremel on. Because that roughness, if it can't be smoothed out, with it being a softer rock, it might not be able to be smoothed out, and that will scuff the other rocks when it tumbles in the last thing. Pretty much if you have anything that's rough, you don't want it to go through stage 4.
Right.
So if it doesn't smooth out most of the way, you want to take it right out and do something else with it. Or just leave it as it is. So I'm kind of worried, even though this one's like smooth, there's some sharp corners to it. I wonder if that would ding them up too. I just expected a lot of these to be a little bit more rounded. Like this one has corners, but, well, no, that one's sharp, but most of them are rounded. I don't know. This is kind of, you know, new for us, so we don't know exactly what to do for what.
Yeah, this is only our second time going through this process. We just wanted to share it because we find it interesting.
This one's close too. Got some soft rock on the top and agate on the bottom. Ooh, big. Starting to get worried. A lot of these have big, huge, like, crevices that's gonna hold on to stuff. This one's really bad. Jeez. That just came out of the blue. Oh, and it's opening up more. What the? Interesting. This one's really problematic. I'm just trying to go off of what we were told, and this is like the epitome of what the guy told us to look out for and take out. And take a look at that. You see that on camera, that big, huge crack?
Yeah.
That's going to hold stuff right in there. You see that? You see it?
Yeah.
That goes in there pretty deep. It almost looks like the two rocks are like, the two types are separating. Because it's just getting deeper and deeper as I clean it. Probably your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do with this. This just more and more keeps coming out. I can't sit here forever and work on this.
Yeah, we're already at the 20-minute mark for this video.
Should I just put this one aside? Because this one's disintegrating.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you should try and put that one back through stage 2 again and see what happens to it.
That's not going to fix that. Did you not see what I was showing you?
Yeah.
That's just going to cram more stuff into that crack. Giggity. This one's got a lot of deep holes too. Giggity. Put that on the side for right now. I just have the stopper in the bottom of the sink just in case I drop a rock so I don't have to fish it out of the garbage disposal. So, just draining the water occasionally. If you don't have a garbage disposal, you definitely want to stop at the sink because you possibly will lose rocks down your sink. And that wouldn't be good.
Especially since the rocks get smaller every step.
Yep. that one there for a sec. I'm going to try to go through all the easy ones before I start doing the problematic ones to see where I'm at. Oh, this one's cool. This one's looking so amazing. This one's got to be one of my favorite. I'll be definitely doing a closer look at this one before we finish up.
Oh yeah, we'll take a peek at all of them just like we did last time.
Let's put these down here so they don't get dry. Same with this one. This is taking a little longer than I thought it was going to take. Trying to be more thorough because our first time we didn't get the polish like you were supposed to on it. So I'm figuring that this might be one of the reasons of why. So I'm trying to be super careful on this one and make this, hopefully our first very successful tumble. Should be fine. Really cool. Oh my god, this is so awesome. Whoa, I did not know this was going to look like that. That uncovered a lot. Ooh, here's almost a perfectly polished one already. It's nice and round. See, I thought all of them were going to look like this. I mean, not all of them. Some of them, the shape, obviously you're not going to get a perfectly round one. But I just figured it'd be a little bit closer to that. A lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. Okay, well, almost gone through the first run. That is really interesting. Can't think of what that is called. I've seen it before. I think this one's going to be okay. That should be okay, hopefully. Alright. I'm sweating. This robe is really warm.
And you've also been at this now for half an hour.
I'm trying my best. You want me to be fast or you want me to be right? Thorough, at least.
They're your rocks. Do it however you want to do it.
I'm not purposely taking a long
That
time.
one's cool looking.
I'm just trying to fix the mistakes that we somehow did in the first one.
Now, I think we should use the filler rocks on this one too. I think that might help.
You want to just throw this one in again?
It's up to you. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So we're going to cut the film here, and then we're going to take a closer peek at what the rocks look like right now. Alrighty, we're going to take a closer peek at some of these rocks before we start stage 3. Oh, go ahead, dear. Show us some of your favorites. I really like that one. I think that one's cool looking. Do we want to get some water in this thing, so after we show them, we can just put them right in there?
Well, oh, okay. I should probably show some bigger ones.
Yeah. That's the one that we looked at last time. As you can see, it's getting quite a bit smoother and refined looking. I'm looking forward to seeing what that one looks like when it's finished. That one's also really cool. Is that the one you were talking about earlier that could possibly cause problems?
No. This is not the one.
Okay. Yeah, that side right there looks really cool.
I think the whole thing looks cool. Shine some light through it and look awesome. No, this is the one I was saying might cause problems because it's got the rough stuff still left. But underneath it has the agate just like the other one. It's got this really pokey, pocked hole right there.
Yeah.
It's got stuff in it. But I tried to rush through the end of it, so.
That one is one of my favorites right there. I think that one's just awesome looking. All the different colors are really cool. That one's also really interesting looking. I like that one too.
It's like speckles inside of it. Different transparency. It'll look cool in the light too, I bet. This one was the one I was saying was really cool because you can't tell, but the black is like underneath the transparency and stuff. It's just, you'd have to see it in the light. It's really neat. I think in the end we need to get a flashlight and actually show.
Yeah, we can probably do that when stage 4 is over, just to show what the rocks look like when they're all completely finished.